Військовослужбовці підрозділу Прайм 5-го прикордонного загону. Зараз знаходимося на Сумщині та стримуємо наступ ворога. Потребуємо мікроавтобус для виконання бойових задач і очищення українського неба від ворожих крил. Звертаємось до команди Car4 Ukraine та Бандера Мобіль з проханням допомогти з закупівлею, підготовкою доставкою авто, а також до Renegade Changus та Канті Людан і їх спільноти з проханням допомогти підтримати збір. Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Чайка скиглить літаючи, мов за дітьми плаче, сонце гріє, вітер віє, на степу козачим, на дім степу скрізь могили стоять та сумують, вітаються у буйного, де наші панують.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the stream and welcome to the 1275th day of the full-scale invasion. I did a little bit of a update because I thought it was important this morning about the drone and missile attacks last night. The second largest attack that Russia has done on Ukraine since the invasion. Hope you guys all enjoyed that. If so, I'll keep doing it and get you guys more information as I can. So say hello to everybody. Let's see. Mitch Ashdown, Adam Brown, Stephen Walsh, Tree Sapper, Sappa, sorry. M35, Nikki Hill. Just trying to make sure I get everybody. Indy Darkstar, Steve Sane, David N. So looks like I got everybody so far. Well, Linda H, hello. The air alerts have been active all day. There has not been a single minute of the day that the air alerts were not active. At least somewhere in Ukraine. Of course, the East is most active, but it's been all over. With that being said, let's hop right into the report for today. The operational information as of 8 a.m. August 21st regarding the Russian invasion. The report starts, as always, with glory to Ukraine. The 1275th day of the large-scale armed aggression of the Russian Federation against Ukraine has begun. In total, 167 combat clashes have taken place over the past day. The enemy launched 2 missile strikes using 5 missiles. Remember, this is covering yesterday. and 61 airstrikes, dropping 127 guided aerial bombs on the positions of Ukrainian units and settlements. In addition, Russia carried out 5,407 artillery strikes, with 123 of those being from multiple launch rocket systems. They also used 5,939 kamikaze drones to strike and cause destruction. Airstrikes affected the settlements of Stara Huta, Nova Huta in Sumy, Bilogrivka, Orhiv, Primorsky in Zaporizhia, Burgunka, Mykolaiivka in Lviv, and Lviv in Kherson region, not that Lviv, this Lviv. Over the past day, aviation, missile troops, and artillery units of the Defense Forces of Ukraine hit 7 areas of concentration of personnel, weapons, and military equipment, 4 artillery systems, 1 air defense system, and a control point of the Russian invaders. Thank you, Steve Sane. Thanks heaps, Champion Canty, for everything you do, and hopefully you can fit at least one underwear in your suitcase. That's oh man, that's funny. Thank you, Steve Sane, for that one. And Stephen Walsh following right up, down with the enemy, glory to the heroes. Thank you so much for the super chats. 4 combat clashes took place in the North Slobohansk Sumy area. Again, not much has changed in the front lines here. Pretty much the same with the last 1,000 days of the so-called Russian advance. 4 combat clashes, generally just south of Volody, Yablunivka, and Yunakivka are the main areas that Russia is focusing on. Counterattacks are happening, and Russia has been pushed back in several areas. Obviously, these blue areas here, but also Stepny and Ubody were briefly occupied by Russia, but quickly expunged from the area. But also in this area, additional 16 airstrikes were carried out, dropping 40 guided bombs. An additional 207 artillery strikes, with 16 of those being from multiple launch rocket systems. Jumping down to the south Slobohansk, Kharkiv area, the Defense Forces repelled 9 enemy attacks in the areas of the settlements of Voschansk, Ambarny, here by this pocket, coming down towards Kimyanka, Figolivka, Gotny. I'm not sure I know where Gotny is off the top of my head. Right there, next to Ambarny, and Katerinivka. Is it one of those ones I have to zoom in for? Or is it hiding somewhere else? Sorry, I do not know all the towns. I wish it was easier to remember all of them. I have a hard enough time pronouncing some of them. Yeah, I can't seem to find Katranivka. So let's just move on for now to Kupiansk. In the Kupiansk direction, there were 2 attacks by the invaders yesterday. The defense forces repelled the enemy assaults in the areas of Golubivka, right here, and towards Kupiansk itself. Jumping down to Liman, and oh, that's evil. Somebody is baking. It smells like, oh, brownies. Not so good. Sorry, distractions. Oh no, I was able to get through Tetris quite a bit of space left opened up in my suitcase. Maybe as a bib, Adam Rounds. Maybe as a bib. Here, let me grab my suitcase and show you guys. So full cam. So well, over half of my suitcase is the medical aid you guys provided. So, you know, I got this area up here for clothing. I do have the couple magic vacuum bags to basically shrink my clothing as much as possible. So I will be doing that. So I won't have to be walking around naked, but thank you, Adam Rounds, for the concern. Oh, Anton, well, I'll inform you about that in a minute. Oh, yeah. Okay, how I got that done was basically the compression bandages, instead of stacking them, directly against each other, I offset them a little bit so they nestled like this together in the packages. Wrapped them in plastic and duct taped them, so they were pretty solidly together. Then on the other side, I packed the tourniquets and the bleed stop, and then the chest seals are on the front and back of the compression bandages. So that opened up a lot of room for me. So yeah, hopefully all those, I can get those to the lady making the IFAKs right away, and those will be on the front line very soon. As Trump says, in 2 weeks. uh oh yeah, it's fairly easy to repack. One of the nice things about being disabled is I get wheelchair service through the airports, and that fast tracks you through a lot of the customs inspections. So, yeah, legitimately 2 weeks. Hello, Pyro. Welcome, welcome. I need to go to live chat instead of top chat. I don't know why. I hate that YouTube does that. Spider Fate, good to see ya. So, anyways, let me get back to where I was, moving down to the Lehman direction, where the enemy attacked 33 times over the last day, trying to advance in the areas of Karpivka, Rydkobub, Kolodazny, Mirny, right here, Torsky, right there, and towards the settlements of Olhivka. Olhivka's up to the north, but Chandragolove, Yampil, Dronivka, and Gorivka. Chandragolove is here, and Olhivka is up here to the north. Obviously, as you can see, Russia is trying to do another wraparound. Basically, what they're trying to do is get to the Oskil River in this direction to essentially cut off Borova and this entire area. It is not going well. Third Assault is in this area and has basically stopped this advance dead. Unfortunately, that Russians have shifted more to the south and have taken over quite a bit of the Serebryanka forest. Again, over the last 1,000 days, all the Russian advances amounted to not even 1% of Ukraine. 1,000 days and almost 800,000 soldiers killed and wounded by Russia for that 1%. Moving on to Servisk, and where K2 operates out of, as well as some other units that we all know and love. Our defenders repelled 5 assaults by the occupation forces near Gorivka, Przini, and towards Vimipka. Also Fedorivka, which is right next door to Przini. And jumping over to Kramatorsk. Bunny ears are gone. Glory to the heroes. Yeah, the ears got cut off. The map has not been updated, but I have some of that for you in some information on that for you in the Telegram section of the stream. Not so much a bunny anymore. Anyways, we were at the Kramatorsk direction. 1 combat engages was recorded in the area of Stupochki, which is just to the south of Chasiv Yar. Jumping down to the Tourette's direction. Where was I? Touretsk. The enemy carried out 11 attacks in the areas of Touretsk itself, Yablunivka, Shachira Benivka, and towards Stefanivka over here. Poltavka, right here, and Popiv Yar. Coming over to Pokrovsk Dobropilia area, we see the remnants of the bunny ears that will not be there much longer. But in the Pokrovsk direction, 53 combat engagements took place in the areas of Volodromivka, Nikianorivka, Fedorivka, right here. You know, the lines are not up to date when combat clashes are reported as Fedorivka instead of like Krasny Liman or Chervony Liman as it's pronounced in Ukrainian. So there has been definitely a major push in this area for the combat clashes to be taking place near Fedorivka. Kruskiv AAR, which is up here. So, well, I'll give you a little bit of a hint from the information later. 90% of the invaders that created the bunny ears have been either eliminated or captured. So there is small pockets in certain areas, and obviously Khrushchev Yar is one of those pockets. Novo Ekonomishne is another assault that happened yesterday. Miro Lubivka, Romin, Lasivka, Zerozova, Koltine, Udashny, Gorgovo, Nova Ukrainka, which is this small settlement here. Dashny right there, and backtracking towards Pokrovsk. It helps if I zoom out and scroll. Pokrovsk. Belitsky. I'm not sure where Belitsky is. Right there. Rodinsky towards Mirnograd and towards Novopavlivka over here. And that's Pokrovsk, and Novopavlivka. Yep. So heading over to the Novopavlivka direction. I lost it again. There we go. In the Novopavlivka direction, defense forces stopped 28 enemy attempts to break through the defensive lines. In the areas of Tolstoy, Surchenko, down here, Volinipol, Voskreshenka, Zelenipol, Vilia, Iskara. Iskara is one of those settlements that has a interesting history, but right along the main road, unfortunately. So again, Russians running down the road and down the tree lines, you know, establishing themselves in small groups. You know, you survive, you've taken the area type of situation. But Iskara is one of the few crossings of this river, especially where it gets, you know, it's much thinner river up here and gets thicker as it goes north and becomes the boundary of the oblast for a major port. But this is one of the few bridges over that river, one of the few crossing points, and definitely need to keep an eye on this in the future. That is going to be a major bottleneck for the Russians as they push forward. Komi Sukava, which is down here. Sichneve. Oh, I don't think I've seen Sichneve. I've seen it before, but it has not been mentioned in a while. Okay, I think I've seen it before. Not that one. Some of these towns are not easy to spot. And Sichneve is looking like one of those. Just not listed on this map, as well as Novogorivka, over here. I still can't seem to find Sichneve. Dirt naps, buy one get one free. What's oh sorry, yeah, the bunny ears back in Pokrovsk. If we go back quite a few days now, let's go. So that is the bunny ears. That's as far as the Russians got. It took them about 5 days to do that. Ukraine has since come in and pushed right through, cutting off the top of the ears, pushed down from the top, and are pushing in at the base of this advance and have cut off and eliminated about 90% of the Russians in this salient. So just wanted to go back and touch on that. Get off there. The enemy did not conduct offensive operations in the Huliopol direction. When they do, it's normally just right here, Malinivka, right on the edge of the Novopavlivka salient or front. So yeah, when we do hear about actions in Huliopol area, it's usually right here. Again, green areas where Russia has been pushed back in the past. Coming over to Orhiv, our defenders repelled one enemy attack in the Primorsky area. Primorsky. I have not seen that settlement talked about in a long time. So Primorsky's way up here. Yeah, the lines are definitely not matching up with Primorsky being a front area, a direct front area, but I'm just assuming it's meant as in this area. Personally, I would use Stepnohorsk, but that's me. So I have to keep an eye on this area for developments in the future, just to be on the safe side. Moving over to Priniproski and the Kherson area. Priniproski is this town right here, and is also the head of the rail bridge, which comes right through here. Antonivka is the vehicle bridge, which is, missing a few sections, and Kherson area. Enemy units tried to advance 3 times along the Dnieper, but they were repulsed. I actually have video of one of those assaults, and part of the reason they don't say where is, well, because it's on water. Moving right along in the Volyn and Polizia directions, there has been no sign of the formation of enemy offensive groups. Our soldiers continue to inflict significant losses in manpower and equipment on the occupation forces and are actively undermining the enemy's offensive potential in the rear. Goes into the losses for today. We'll cover that with the graphic. Let's head back to the air alert map. And we end with join the defense forces Razom Peremojemo and Slava Ukraina. Stephen Walsh says, my belief is that it is atrocious what the Russian Federation is doing. Also, is not up to El Presidente. Join freedom and the rest is history. Yeah. My neighbor gave me a partridge breast. Yeah, I just fired it up. Was it in a pear tree? Sorry, couldn't resist. Sumi has one of the stories that came out today is that the general commander for the north area just got replaced today. The new commander is rushing into the Sumi area, pun intended. So we might be seeing a reinvigoration of Russian assaults in the Sumy and Kharkiv areas from the north. The old commander was relieved of duties, and a new one has been appointed and is heading there, likely be there, well, tomorrow for me, but later today for Ukraine time. Obviously being 5:35 a.m. in Ukraine and August 22nd. I'm still on August 21st. So yeah, it should be interesting to see what comes of replacing that commander. The old commander definitely got blamed for Ukrainian advances in Kindrativka and Drivka and basically being stopped in their tracks at this point. Very static area for the last, well, almost a month now. So new commander in. I'm likely going to see an increased number of attacks. Whether those attacks are able to accomplish anything is another story. A nice pear sauce with pheasant. Moving into the combat losses of the enemy for August 21st, the 1,275th day of the full-scale invasion. Yesterday, Russia lost 830 additional personnel, bringing the total to 1,073,400 530, 1 tank, 5 armored personnel vehicles, 41 artillery systems, 1 MLRS, 1 anti-aircraft warfare systems. Those are like the S-300, S-400s, and they're meant to take out enemy aircraft, but Russia uses them to take out Ukrainian apartment complexes. 315 UAVs, 114 vehicles, and 1 special equipment. Tomorrow, or I should say very shortly, about 2 hours, we'll start seeing the updates for today's information coming out of Ukraine. But that is the Russian losses for yesterday. Again, Donetsk still under air alert. Been under air alert for 2 hours. Eastern part of Dnipro under air alert for an hour 10. We just seen Sumy come off of air alert a few minutes ago. Like I said, there has not been a minute this day, at least my day, that Ukraine has not been under some sort of air alert somewhere. Moving into Telegram and Zelensky's official Telegram channel. Since he's not meeting with Trump and EU leaders and everybody else and flying all over the world, being the leader that Ukraine needs right now, he was able to give us an address for today. Here we go. A late frost killed the flowers? That sucks, Adam. I have 2 pears and like 5 cherries because of the same reason. I wish you health. Today, throughout the day, recovery efforts have been... He talks faster than I can keep up in English. Recovery efforts have continued in several of our regions after last night's attack by Russia. A massive attack. More than 500 drones were launched, 574, along with missiles, including ballistic missiles, 40 missiles in total. A significant portion of all this was shot down by our warriors, and it is important that we have this capability, the proper means. More than 30 missiles were shot down. Dozens of Shaheeds were destroyed by our interceptors. Thank you all to the developers and operators, but unfortunately there were also hits. Different regions from Zaporizhia to Volyn and Zakarpattia. In Mushkishevno, the Russians destroyed a company, an American company, producing electronics, home appliances, nothing military. The Russians knew exactly where they lobbed the missiles. We believe this was a deliberate strike specifically on American-owned property here in Ukraine. On American investments, a very telling strike. This entire massive attack, right as the world awaits a clear answer from the Russians, an answer on negotiations to end the war, there are 2 formats where progress is feasible. These are leader-level formats, bilateral Ukraine and Russia, and trilateral Ukraine, United States, and Russia. We discussed this in Washington. Putin spoke about it on the call with President Trump. Now, frankly speaking, the signals coming from Russia are simply outrageous. They are trying to wriggle out of holding a meeting. They don't want to end this war. They continue their massive attacks on Ukraine and their furious assaults along the front lines. They even lobbed missiles at an American enterprise, alongside many other purely civilian targets. And this is happening right at the borders of the European Union and NATO. A Russian attack drone entered Polish territory. Very troubling drone incidents have also occurred on the Lithuanian territory. None of this is accidental. This is Russian imprudence. We expect our partners to respond in a principled manner. This war must be brought to an end. Pressure must be exerted on Russia to end the war. Putin understands nothing but force and pressure. Of course, we are doing and will continue to do everything necessary to protect our state and our people. The U.S. President is absolutely right. This must be done not only in defense. I'm going to pause there for a second. Trump put out a tweet. We'll cover that in a little bit. But Zelensky is directly referring to, well, Truth Social statement by Trump. And I wish I had that queued up somewhere so I could show you that tweet since Zelensky's talking about it. But continue. Meanwhile, we do not slow down in diplomacy in all our contacts with partners so that negotiations do take place, the kind of negotiations that can truly bring peace closer. National security advisors are working. They had a conversation yesterday, and there's been a lot of communication today as well. At their level, the military, the commander-in-chief, the general staff are working on the military component of the security guarantees for Ukraine. Now, each day carves out the contours of the future security architecture for Ukraine. Weapons, funds, cooperation with partners, forces on the ground, in the air, and at sea. And every day there will be new steps taken to support Ukraine. I will have a lot of diplomatic work to do. I thank everyone who stands with us, with Ukraine. And one more thing. Today, I want to thank all the employees of the State Emergency Services of Ukraine who always help people in the wake of Russian strikes. It is important that, despite everything, Ukrainians know how to protect lives and help everyone around them. The State Emergency Service, the police, all our services, many volunteers, medical workers, first responders are all as functional and effective as possible. Thank you. I especially want to recognize today the Kharkiv region, the main department of the State Emergency Services in Kharkiv.
Антон Журавльов, Леонід Жупій, Андрій Сімцов, Олександр Бондаренко. Дякую вам, хлопці.
Thank you, guys.
Також працівникам
Also, the staff of the Mobile Rescue Center and Rapid Response of the State Emergency Services of Ukraine.
Влага, Костянтин Сілаєв, Віталій Машковський, Марія Кукла. Дякую. Дякую. Також головне управління
As well as the main
ДСНС
department
України в
of the
місті
State Emergency Services of Ukraine in Kyiv.
Микола Лось, Борис Іванченко, Ігор Лисак, Вадим Ярошевський, Андрій Омельченко. Дякую, хлопці. Дякую всім, хто воює.
Thank you to everyone who fights and works for Ukraine.
Слава Україні.
Glory to Ukraine, and of course, Heroam Slava. And that's one way to wear out your voice trying to keep up with Zelensky's addresses. He talks really fast. From there, let's hop straight over to Canty Center on Telegram. and give you guys a preview of some of the things to come. And when I see Trump's tweet, I will stop at it so we can talk about that briefly. Here we go. I have to admit, this tweet gives me like a little tiny ounce of hope to keep in my heart. I hope it's not misplaced. But today, Donald Trump sent out, "It is very hard, if not impossible, to win a war without attacking an invader's country. It's like a great team in sports that has a fantastic defense, but is not allowed to play offense. There is no chance of winning. It is like that with Ukraine and Russia." I wish I could skip over this part, but crooked and grossly incompetent Joe Biden would not let Ukraine fight back, only defend. How did that work out? Regardless, this is a war that would have never happened if I were president. Zero chance. Interesting times ahead. So, this is the strongest statement Trump has ever made that is even remotely pro-Ukrainian. Like I said, it gives me like a little tiny sliver of hope that things might change in the American politics towards Ukraine. Yeah. It's like I said, it's a little tiny, speck of hope that I have, but you can't give up on hope. And maybe, just maybe, with a whole lot of "I'll believe it when I see it" thrown in. But that was the post Zelensky was referring to when saying Trump was right. In the meantime, we also see this, Taco Trump being Taco, and Trump has decided to withdraw from the peace talks between Putin and Zelensky. So yeah, just after he announced leaving the peace talks between Putin and Zelensky, that comes out. So I mean, it's not just that one thing, but I can hope and that hope is based largely or inside a whole lot of doubt, but yeah. I'll believe it when I see it, but maybe big if true. Yeah, I definitely believe it when I see it. And here we come to the drone report from last night. Let me catch back up with chat before we go into everything here, so we can see. Adam Rounds with $5 saying, "Hoping for great travels for you to Ukraine." Oh yeah, it was an interesting morning for me. Woke up from I wouldn't say it was a nightmare, but it kind of was. It was just like a feeling of dread, and I woke up and was like, what the hell? Checked my email, and one of the legs of my plane trip over to Warsaw was canceled, and I did not get a updated reservation. So I had to call the airline, get the updated, have them update the trip agenda, and yeah, everything worked out. So, yeah. Missed the previous ones. Oh, Steve, you're a bad influence. You know that, Steve Sane. KK, no, it was a tough growing year, no fruit whatsoever. Ouch. Yeah, that's strawberries is about it. Unfortunately, the chickens got into our strawberry bed and like eliminated about 60 strawberry plants. So our strawberry harvest wasn't even that good, Adam. Do you plan to buy some clothes while you're in Ukraine? If I could find stuff in my size, yes. I was in 5X's before. I'm down to 4X's. This is an old 5X, and you see, I mean, so, but like the biggest shirts I saw for the most part in Ukraine was 3X. So I got a little more weight to go before I can shop confidently in Ukraine. Yeah, I get you, Nura. It's just that little sliver. I gotta have that little sliver. Um, yeah, it's funny that the wives are doing more for the peace talks than the husbands are. Um, mention Lake Ontario, Lake Erie. So yeah, I grew up just outside of Lake Erie, but I have some friends in Baudette, Minnesota. So, like Mercado's down here. I have friends that are way, way up here in Baudette, and Lake of the Woods is kind of like a unknown Great Lake. It's mostly drained out, but there is some awesome fishing in this lake. So if you ever get up to Baudette or Warwood, some great fishing to be had up here. And, not too far from Winnipeg. So my Ukrainian friends in Winnipeg, definitely check out Lake of the Woods. Some awesome, awesome fishing. And some great ice fishing in the winter. I've never been a fan of ice fishing, but I've always been a heavy person, and the thought of falling through the ice just freaks me out with the ice fishing. But yeah, some beautiful area. Definitely worth checking out if you're a fishing enthusiast in the States. Yes, unfortunately, Zelensky does have to pander to Trump. I don't think Trump knows anything right now, Nura, to be honest. I think he's going through the motions, and that's about it. Mitch Ashdown with 50 Canadian for travel buddy, thank you very much. I do appreciate that very much, but I will not be using it for myself. All the money from YouTube is going to aid for Ukraine. Maybe some of it will go for buying my house in Ukraine, but I've already had 3 requests to get battery supply backup supplies for a couple units. So yeah, I'm not even sure how I'm going to be able to finagle that. Maybe I need to start putting my Ukrainian PayPal account in the links, in the pin to the top of chat, because there's about 1,500 in requests for EcoFlows from units I'm in contact with in Ukraine. So one of those units is up over by Sumy. The other unit is down by Zaporizhia. And the third unit is in Kherson, doing a lot of the drone ops against the boats. So there you go, Steve. Speaking of lakes, a lake in Russia has ever so slightly more fresh water than all the Great Lakes combined. It also has the world's only known freshwater seal species. Bakel? It moved again. Interesting tidbit there. They exist. Yes, I'm a follower of Garfield as well. Fat floats. You're too small in the top corner. I don't know. I think it's fine. Crater Lake? No, yeah. Yeah, if you really want to talk lakes, the ones I can talk about are that I know stuff about are these two. Former lakes. This lake here and this one. Russia, in its infinite wisdom, diverted the rivers that flow into this lake and this lake to grow cotton and such in these river or these valleys here. As a result, look at what is left of, this is 20 years. This lake used to cover this entire outline, up to here, even into the north here some, and then down here, back over. So this entire lake is now dried up, and one of the consequences of that is on this former island, was Russia's biological warfare center. Didn't need security because it was on an island. All you had to do was, control the boats. Now, people can just drive up to it from anywhere. This is one of the world's biggest concerns. There's the old airport for this facility here. And, you see the storage tanks still there. Some of the old bunkers are still there. I can't help but wonder what chemicals and biologicals are still there and could get activated. But yeah, this is scary in my opinion. And you see, like, the water used to come up right to the edge here. But yeah, now it's easy access for people and animals and whatever just to wander onto one of the most dangerous things in human evolution, biological weapons. Lake Okanagan is also crazy deep. They had a World War II submarine program there. Yeah, that's where a lot of the training was done for submariners during World War II. Invasive species. But yeah, that was one of the scary things is one of the most scary things for me after Russia. But you can even start to see signs of drying out in the Caspian Sea because of that diversion of water from this lake to feed all these. Well, if you zoom in, you see like all the agriculture being done in these valleys now, all fed from the diversion of that river. It's crazy amounts of agriculture all down and going. Yeah, it's a huge amount of agriculture that's being done from diverting the water going to this lake, or former lake, I should say. But this lake used to feed the Caspian Sea, and as you can see here, there's already a lot of drying up of the Caspian Sea happening in the north, shallower areas. What used to be right on the water's edge is now, well, abandoned because there's no access to the water. There was a great documentary in the mid 2010s about these fishing villages that are dying because they can't get their boats into the water to fish anymore. To say humans are not affecting the world's environment, yeah. If you want to see the seals that were in the Great Lakes before, go up into this bay. Polar Bear Provincial Park. They might have the seal pictures. Yeah. Oh no. Oh, there's the polar bears. I'm sure they have to have the seals in here too somewhere. Because polar bears eat seals. I guess not. Anyways, let's keep the air alert map up for now and go into the drone report from last night. As Zelensky said, 574 Russian drones launched at Ukraine last night. 546 shot down. 4 Kinzhal missiles were launched. 1 of them were shot down. 2 Iskander-M missiles launched. Unfortunately, none of those got shot down. 19 KH-101 missiles were launched. 18 shot down. 14 Caliber missiles launched. 12 shot down. And 1 unknown missile it was later identified, but I can't remember what kind of missile it was. Again, not shot down. I'm not sure if I forwarded the pictures of that one, but I don't think I did. American electronics, they made toasters and coffee makers and stuff like that. That is the location of the American-owned company that was hit by Russians last night. As you can see, these missiles were launched from Crimea area and went, that was their target. Lviv, Lutsk, Sumy, Dnipro, Zaporizhia, Pokrovsk, all targets of the drones and missiles last night. And here is a video of the GUR using a Bayraktar UAV to destroy a boat belonging to the Russian invaders. Again, this is why we don't get locations in Kherson area. It's on the water. Wi-Fi is down and service is spotty, but I'm here lurking my best. Ugh, yeah, that's crazy, LJ. You can turn mobile data off and just use your Wi-Fi when your Wi-Fi is active. Good point, Neuro. Where was Neuro's last comment? You go right ahead and take one for the team, David 47. I would, there's not enough condoms in the world that would allow me to even think about doing either one of them. Meanwhile, good morning, Novoshattinsky oil plant. Ooh, that sucks, LJ. Yeah, LJ's just to the north of me in South Dakota here. Um, and everybody's been talking about the Flamingo missiles. Here is a brief tour from Channel 5 UA of some of the production of the Flamingo missiles. I wish I could go to the next thing and read it to you as we watch this, but I believe they've reached an assembly of 1 missile per day at the moment, and are looking to get up to 7. Yeah, Ukrainian Flamingo missile is now being produced 1 per day. By October, production is planned to increase to 7 units per day. Did I forward that picture? No, I didn't. There's a cool picture out there of them all painted pink. It is kind of cool, but I forgot to forward that one.
Weapon production is a huge guarantee of Ukraine independence, but also European safety. The overall
Let me restart this.
weapon production is a huge guarantee of Ukraine independence, but also European safety. The overall technical
Sorry, I'm laughing at
characteristics
chat.
is not much different from a Shahed. Of course, it has different construction, but the function is the same. The maximum range is 3,000 kilometers confirmed, with an accuracy of 14 meters to target on this distance. And the payload capacity is, in the moment, 1,150 kilograms. Right now, Ukraine is holding this barrier, and let's say it's exporting safety to other countries, which are standing behind Ukraine.
Why is Ukraine letting that information out? Because, as we all know, that public information is typically far less than what is actually capable of. Ukraine's Firepoint startup is mass producing long range drones and testing cruise missiles to strike deep inside Russia. Its FP1 drones, costing $55K each, now make up 60% of the strikes inside Russia, hitting oil refineries and depots. Production jumped from 30 per month in 2023 to 100 per day this year. Firepoint is also building the FP5 Flamingo cruise missile with a 3-kilometer range and 1.1 ton warhead. And they're just spinning that up. Ukraine is going to be the future weapons supplier for Europe. And this tells you how well that is going to be going. Definitely can't wait to see the Flamingo go up against some American-made stuff. This is the production plant in Makshevko, the plant of the American company Flex. The company was engaged in the production of electronics, fitness trackers, health monitoring devices, coffee machines, and so on. It collaborated with brands like Nike, Google, Lenovo, and others. In April, the plant was reconstructed in April. At the time of the missile attack, 600 workers were at this plant. They managed to get them into shelters. However, there were 15 wounded as a result of this attack. Oh, they've been used. I'm pretty sure they've been used. Yeah, and Trump just tacos out. Exactly. Uh, Traction Railway Substation Zarkova in the Voschansk region of Russia. Due to a fire at the substation, in addition to the delay of a number of trains, due to fire at the substation, in addition to the delay a number of trains, the crews temporarily disconnected power unit number 7 of the nuclear power plant in the region from the network. So Russia having a bit of problems with their logistics and rail stations today, and it only continues. European countries, according to Politico, want the U.S. to commit to supplying Ukraine with Patriot and NASAMS air defense missiles, as well as guarantees regarding the continued use of American satellites for GPS and reconnaissance in Ukraine. Ukrainian attacks disrupt Russian gasoline supplies, pushing up the prices. So those are a couple of the refineries struck within the last month. Wholesale gasoline prices in Russia hit record highs twice in a row since August 4th, surpassing September 2023 highs. Prices for A95, Euro 95 on the St. Petersburg exchange rose to 82,300 rubles per ton, up 55% since the beginning of the year. At least 10% of the oil of the refinery capacity is out of order. Rail strikes are causing delays and disrupting logistics. Partially destroyed rail infrastructure and logistics have increased demand for road transport. To curb rising prices, Russia banned all gasoline exports in July 28th of this year, tightening previous restrictions. Shortages and high prices persist, with gasoline now being sold only by coupon in some regions. Does anybody remember the gas coupons from World War II? That is the level of rationing Russia is getting into for gas. The ban on gasoline exports increased domestic supplies by 150,000 tons, but that did not stop the rise in prices, which indicates a shortage in the domestic market. Diesel was less affected, but regional disruptions are possible at least until September. And Ukraine is not going to let up on attacking those oil refineries. It's only going to get worse for Russians. Yeah, it's pretty bad when the gas station has to import the gas. Yeah, so they're exporting crude and importing the refined products. Meanwhile, Russian dugouts, shelters, equipment, and houses in which they were hiding are burning. A selection of the top strikes by Ukrainian heavy bomber drone Ares A1.
над степами, крізь громи лють вітрів, летить Арес із крилами, що зносять трони ворогів. Ні вогонь, ні залізо не спинить його спів, це пісня війни. Він несе їм суд і кару від синів святої землі. Анарес, Баба Яга, грім у небі їхня слава. Баба Яга несе смерть ворогам з небокраю. Українська Баба Яга. Залізні крила рвуть простори, вогняна буря з висоти, жах ворожий стогне в полі, коли Арес іде туди. Нема укриття під землею, нема рятунку в стіні, там, де крокує Яга з Аресом, залишиться тільки вогні. Арес, Баба Яга, грім у небі їхня слава. Баба Яга несе смерть ворогам з небокраю. Українська
And yes, the song name is Baba Yaga. In Crimea, there was an attack on the rail station. Unfortunately, we don't get close to it, but yeah, as the trains are going through, the station got hit. Unfortunately, in Konstantinivka, 2 Russian guide bombs struck a market where civilians were waiting for humanitarian aid. That is the image of the market being hit, and was a humanitarian aid location, bombing civilians. That is how Russia works. One of the stories coming out today was one of the possibilities of the peace agreement. Ukraine agrees to freeze the war along the current front line and recognize the territories as de facto lost, but de jure Ukrainian. Basically what that means, for those that don't understand political double talk, it's recognizing that the areas are controlled by Russia, but they remain Ukrainian on paper. He noted that in the future, Kyiv will return the lost territories through diplomatic and economic means. Putler was not happy with this, and it was turned down. Objective control of the train damage in Crimea, where we saw that attack happen. Oh yeah. So even more fuel shortages for Russian, as the fuel line, or the fuel's not even getting delivered because it's getting hit by Ukrainian drones. In the Pokrovsk direction, we get to see another Russian grad go up in spectacular spectacular format is what I was going to say. I get you there, Adam Rounds. Oh, one more time, just because I love seeing these things blow up. Badger, 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 mushroom. And more attacks in that same area of Crimea.
Посмотрите, Света. Я такое еще не видела. А что случилось? Что-то тут произошло.
So one fire truck on the scene after the fire spread from the train station. This morning, a truck carrying a tanker with aviation fuel burned down on the Sochi highway in Russia. So even more fuel problems for Russia. Logistics are definitely hurting. Again, come back to Trump now withdrawing from the peace talks. Taco being taco. Skipping over that, and of course, going to skip over that because we already covered it. But fighters from the 5th Motorized Rifle Brigade regained control of the settlement of Tolstoy in Donetsk region. Let's show you where that is located. So this is Tolstoy, and this video is showing the recapture of this settlement by Ukrainian forces. Well, there's the Ukrainian flag outside, being held outside a house in the town of Tolstoy. And of course, Ukraine is saying, "You can run, you can hide, but I will find you." And after that clearing operation, Ukrainians moving in. Let me go back for just a second here. Pause. Again, you see the effects of this conflict on the agriculture in Ukraine. Huge wheat fields. These aren't harvested, these are burned down. Let's go back just a couple seconds. That's all because of fires from the fighting going on, that these fields are essentially stripped of all the agricultural products. Skipping over Trump's tweet, we come to the 425th Regiment Shikala. We are hunting the occupiers around the clock, showing their work in the Pokrovsk direction. Ooh, you even get some drone-on-drone action. Woohoo, baby. And so much for that drone antenna. I believe that was a satellite receiver. Same with that one. Mortar. Oh, it looks like it had some ammo next to it. Well, they won't be using that house to hide out in anymore. Or that one. Or that one. We all know Voschansk up here in Kharkiv. Let me zoom out here and head up to Kharkiv, Voschansk. This city here. Today we get to see a tour of what it looks like now. You know, those used to be apartment buildings with like 60 apartments in each building. 60 families that no longer have a place to live in each one of those. This is the Russian peace, the Russia Mir, Russian peace, Russian world that they want to bring to Ukraine. Destruction, rubble, and ruin. So that's what it looks like now. Show you what it looked like before. I know one of these is a nice aerial shot. Here's one of the parks that no longer exists in Voschansk. You know, the market square. Just somebody's house. You know, just outside the city. Nice little pond and field to chill and relax in. All of it is gone. No, playground for the kids. Again, gone. There used to be a really good aerial drone shot of this area, and I can't seem to find it now. Well, again, was a very beautiful city, very beautiful area. And, well, we see what it looks like now. Yeah, Russians probably stripped that thing for parts. Again, these are all probably stripped for parts, but yeah, there was a fighter graveyard just outside the city. They probably fixed that up and are flying it right now, knowing the Russians. But yeah, this used to be Voschansk. And now we know why the Russians wanted it. They needed the parts. Sorry, I couldn't resist on that. So yeah, that's Voschansk today. U.S. air support could come in a variety of ways, including providing more air defense systems to Ukraine and enforcing a no-fly zone with U.S. fighter jets. So that'd be a very good outcome, I hope, for such a deal. On the morning of August 19th, 3 days ago now, Ukraine time, 14 fuel tanks derailed and overturned. 2 of them caught fire. 2 fire trains were sent to extinguish the fire, but armed forces of Ukraine again attacked the area using 2 HIMARS missiles and drones. At 1300, the Ukrainian armed forces struck the site of the fire. As a result, 4 servicemen were killed. Another 11 servicemen were injured. In total, the train was carrying 16 tanks with gasoline and 4 diesel fuel containers. According to sources, the train was also equipped with a platform with electronic warfare system. Can I make this any bigger? Apparently not. But that is what Ukraine is doing to Russia's fuel logistics. Meanwhile, in Lviv, let me see if I can get this translated. My house got hit, a bit smashed, but that's a minor detail. The main thing that everyone is healthy. Video from Lviv region. They are recovering after the enemy attack last night. According to the prosecutor's office, Lviv was attacked by the Russians, including with cruise missiles and cluster warheads.
Трошки мені в хату Ми були там з дружиною і двоє дітей у нас, хлопчиків півроку і 3 роки. То очевидно, ну так би мовити,
No,
їх закрили
note the
собою.
kid's jacket
Але в
right
Іспанії
there.
все окей. Там, де ми, власне, ще і переховуємося, то нас якраз туди, як би це парадоксально не звучало, прилетів снаряд. Якраз. Але ми буквально десь хвилин 7 від перед тим вийшли. Ну, ми там 3 години перечікували повітряну тривогу. А якраз
get you, Adam.
перейшли вже в спальню спати, бо бачили по карті, що тільки одна ракета лишилася. Але ми щасливчики, якось нам Бог поміг, і ми перейшли скоренько в спальню. І ця остання ракета таки якось так вийшла, що прям прилетіла. Ну от, ви бачите, там дуже багато руйнувань. Але в нас все, ну, хлопці там старшому подобалося, як хата сусідня горіла. Ну, він, напевно, до кінця розумів, що відбувається. Але так в загальному, ну, трошки машини покоцало, там, задні вікна повилітали, так бачите, от, колеса попробували. Ото дрібниці, головне, що всі здорові.
No, obviously a residential area. No military targets at all in this area, just people's houses.
Бачите, як парує.
And Ukrainians trying to prevent the fires from spreading and further damaging other housing. Pilots of the Red Kalina Brigade, together with adjacent units, destroyed MLRS in the Pokrovsk direction. I think we already seen this, but we saw this part of the video. We didn't see the lead up to it. Yeah, and I am hoping that these gerrymandering things do not happen, because it's going to make it harder. Of course, California is fighting back and, doing the gerrymandering there to make Democrats get more seats, while Texas is doing it for Republicans to get more seats. I only hope, I don't normally like talking about American politics, but I do hope that Democrats regain the House or the Senate and make it harder for Trump to enforce such crap to be initiated. The only reason this gerrymandering is happening, because Trump ordered it and wants to keep power in both the Senate and Congress, and that's why the districts are being reset in Texas. From the 47th Brigade, Magura destroys the enemy in the North Slobodansk direction. Ladas instead of armored vehicles. Oh yeah, Trump is totally in love with Putin. Putin has bailed out Trump so many times in the past to the tune of at least 20 million. After his casinos failed and he was looking at bankruptcy, Russia bailed him out with a $20 million loan. Meanwhile, in Donetsk, the water situation is getting very bad. In Donetsk, Putin protected the Russian-speaking population. Now they are stealing water barrels from the neighboring house. This is how bad the water situation is getting in Donetsk. So there they are, a group of people stealing and moving a rain-catching barrel so that they can have water. This is modern Donetsk, modern under Russian. Meanwhile, Mother Nature is helping out more than some presidents. Due to heavy rains in the Magadan region, a bridge on the federal highway Coloma was washed away right under a fuel tanker. In total, 2 bridges were washed away. Several settlements in Magadan and Yaktukia were cut off from civilization. There is no internet or communication. I wonder how much of that diesel fuel is leaking out into that river. But that is Russian road logistics for you. It's a hell of a way to communicate with the rest of civilization, having to scooch along a guardrail over a raging river. Yeah, it looks like a couple other fuel tankers are stuck there because back here was flooded. The bridge is out right here. So those 3 are stuck there. And then the other bridge, I believe, is up this way. Well, just a little more trouble for Russian fuel logistics. Before I play this, I do have to give you a disclaimer. It is fairly graphic, but Russian war criminals continue to terrorize random local residents in Kherson, having fun by dropping grenades on civilians from drones. In this way, the occupying forces train their pilots and are not at all ashamed of posting such a video. You have been warned. There's nothing graphically shown, but it is disturbing nonetheless. No, guy's just out there working on his roof. Not a military person, just a civilian, and the Russians use him for training practice. There's a term that other people are using. I do not like to use it because it makes light of what Russia's really doing. It is using civilians as target practice, using human beings as a source of training. It's in my Telegram channel as well as Dennis Davidoff's. But yeah, they release videos like that daily from Kherson area, and Russians eat it up on the Russian Telegram channels. By order of the Sharp Barretts, the biker assault on Percross has been canceled. As seen in the video, drones destroy all Russian motorcyclists. They accurately target moving targets with drops. Several bikers were eliminated by the FPV drones. Thanks to a large number of Ukrainian drones in the sky, such attempts are stopped even before they get close. So, nice little update from the front in Pokrovsk. Yes, this is a very good song. I'll be demonetized on this stream as always because of songs like that on these clips, but oh well. And the last video I have for you today is from the Riddick group. Come on. Omega West Special Forces Unit destroy occupiers with the FPV drones. Here is their video from Omega. On the highway to... Oh, this will get taken down for that song. Yeah, they're very strict on some of these songs. But yeah, they're on the highway to HE double hockey sticks. That is the last video I had for you tonight, except we're going to go to Volna, Ukraina. There's no context to some of these videos, but it's just a place where soldiers post the clips that they make. And of course, I always love the helicopter videos from this channel.
Singing low while I pop a bottle off of your chain swinging, clang clang, and it costs a lot. Bitch, I'm always after Guala, yeah, and you are not badass beat. Keep on going till you hit the spot. Whoa, I'm a big bag hunter with the bow. She got a big bed, drop it low. Mama called me and she in that park in the car, pretending I got all the eyes on me. Got a bad baby and she's independent. Too many people older than me, they're seeking attention. When they want me about the goofies, man, I should've listened. And the smell of the money, my strangest addiction. She tit for dick, I let her lit, I had to dip. I'm on for fifth, I'm all rich now. I bought a whip, I paint a paint, it drive itself. The fuck you think? Yeah, I'm rich now. Hey, little mama, yeah, you heard about me. I'ma pop you like a pea, yeah, at a mommy. Yeah, feel so hot like I'm chilling on the beach. Yeah, baby in the sun like the Teletubbies. Singing low while
if there's any Ukrainian pilots listening in, please, give me a ride. I'd love to have a ride in one of those helicopters. And, well, just playing around. Oh, great way to end the stream, I think. One more time, just because it is what it is. Good seeing the guys laughing and having fun. It's one of the reasons I enjoy this channel so much. It is a lot of videos on here of the boys just being boys. With that, I will say good night. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for the support. Please remember to hit the like, subscribe if you're not subscribed. But most importantly, keep supporting Ukraine. Thankfully, no air alerts are currently active in Ukraine at 7 a.m. Ukraine time, well, tomorrow, the 22nd. Have a good night. Stay safe, everybody. And I'll see you next time. Oh, and now we know where the rabbit ears near Dobrapilya went to. That's where they went. They're in the van. Have a good one, folks.